So let's see how to apply CSS to HTML. As you all may know, we have external style sheets, we have internal style sheets, and we have inline styles. So let's start with external style sheet. An external style sheet contains CSS in a separate file with a .css extension, just like we did here. It's an external style sheet. As you can see, we have style.css. So the external style sheet must have .css extension. The graph. So this is mostly common and useful method of bringing CSS to a document. You can link a CSS file to multiple web pages, styling all of them with the same CSS style sheet. As we already have a CSS style, external CSS style. So what I'll do now is I'll come here in our H1 and give it color of blue and give it background color of yellow and give it border of 1 pixel solid. Then the color should be black. Let's see. As you can see, the background is yellow, the text color is blue, then the border is black, 1 pixel. So let's change the text, the paragraph color. I'll change this one to red. And I'll remove this. I don't need it anymore. Let's talk about the href attribute in the link element. So the href attribute in the link element needs to reference a file on your file system. So just like in the example we give here, it is referencing our style.css. So let me tell you different ways to do this. There are one that is inside a subdirectory called styles inside the current directory. For example, I'll comment out there. Let me leave it. For example, the one that is inside a subdirectory called styles. So we say link. The style sheet should be style/style.css. It means this should be inside a subdirectory that is in, this is the subdirectory and this is the current directory. Assuming we create a folder here, a directory called style, and inside the style we add our style.css and save. We have style.css here. You grab. So anything I say here, let's say body background dude. Let's see this one also. As you can see, everything is working. So another way is to add link your CSS that is inside a subdirectory called general, which is in a subdirectory called files inside the current directory. That you have to create another folder called general here. Then inside the folder, you create another folder called styles. Now inside the styles, you create another file called style.css. So let me comment it inside a subdirectory called general, which is in a subdirectory called styles. inside the current directory. So to do this, we say link, and inside the href, we say style, styles / general / style.css. You got to create a directory called styles. Okay, this directory called style. Then you create another directory inside the style called general. Then inside general, you create a file called style.css. Now another way, we say go up to one directory. Then inside a subdirectory called style. So how do we do this? We say link the href we have dot slash. That's you go up one directory level. That is dot /. Then I'll say style / style.css. This means if your index.html is inside another directory, that's when you use dot / for you to go up one directory level. Then go and get your style.css and wherever you want to get it from. So let's talk about inline styling. An inline style sheet is an internal style sheet reside within an HTML document. To create an internal style sheet, you place CSS inside a style element contained inside the HTML head. So what do? We come inside our HTML, still in the head, I'll say style like this. I'll get rid of all the styles name. And here, I'll say H1, give it color of blue, background color of yellow, and border of 1 pixel solid black. Now, I'll say P and give it color of red. So in some circumstances, internal style sheet can be useful. For example, perhaps if you are working with a content management system where you are blocked from modifying external CSS file. So, but for sites with more than one page, an internal style sheet becomes a less efficient. Like it becomes a less efficient way of working. To apply uniform CSS styling to multiple pages using internal style sheet, you must have an internal style sheet in every web page that we use the styling. So the efficiency penalty carries over the site maintenance too. With CSS in internal style sheet, there is the risk that even one simple styling change may require edits to multiple web pages. So let's talk about inline style, or I'll get rid of this inline style. So let's talk about inline style. Inline style are CSS declaration that affects a simple HTML element contained within a style attribute. The implementation of an inline style in an HTML document might look like this. Um, I'll come to my H1 and give it style. Then the color will be blue. See, then The background color will be yellow. Then I'll give it border of 1 pixel solid black. This is it. So let me come to my paragraph. I'll say style and give it color. Red. So avoid using CSS in this way when possible. I repeat, avoid using CSS in this way when possible. It is the opposite of a best practice. First, it is the least efficient implementation of CSS for maintenance. One styling change might require multiple edits within a single web page. Second, inline CSS also mixes presentational code with HTML and content, making everything more difficult to read and understand. Especially code and content makes maintenance easier for all who work on the website. There are a few circumstances where inline styles are more common. You might have to resort to using inline style if your working environment is very restrictive. For example, perhaps your CMS only allows you to edit the HTML body. You may also see a lot of inline style and HTML email and archive compatibility with as many email clients as possible. So that's it. Now, let's see about functions in CSS. First of all, add a div and give it class of outline. Then I'll add another div and give it class of box. Now, inside this box, I'll say the inner box is 90% minus 30%. Let's see, this is what we got. So let's head to our CSS. Now, I'll say dot outer. I'll give it border of 5 pixel solid black. Save. Then for the box, is the box. I'll grab it and give it its own style. Say padding of 10 pixel width. I will use the calc function, which can do simple math with CSS. So I would say calc 90% minus 30 pixel. I'll say then background. I do the background at the top of and give it the text color of white. See what's happening here? I said 90% minus 30 pixel is a result. You can play around with your own. So let's see about transforming functions in CSS. Let's say let's get a div. Then we'll give it class of box. Now I don't need to add anything inside here. I'll leave it this way. Then I'll come to my okay, we have the issue. We have to so for this one. box with double X. So I'll come here, say box with double X, and give it margin of 30%. That's margin top, right, bottom, and left. 30%. Give it weight of 100%, and give it height of 100%. And say there's no result, but there is a result. So I'll say background color like a purple. See the results. Now let's transform it. So transform, we use rotate. Let's rotate it in 0.8 turn. So I'll say 0.8 turn. Say boom. You have it like this. So you can play around with your own. So let's see about rules in CSS. CSS rules pronounce at as at rules. So it provides instruction for what CSS should perform or how it should behave. Some rules are simple with just a keyword and a value. For example, at imports, it imports a style sheet into another CSS style sheet. Just like if I want to import, since I have another CSS here, if I want to import this CSS inside this CSS, what I'll do is I'll come up here and say at import, then I'll import my style.css. Like this. So what common rule that you are likely to encounter is at media queries. You are likely to encounter that, which is used to create media queries. Media queries are conditional logic for applying CSS styling. So let's see how this works. Let's grab our body. The background of the body will be pink. Let's say, okay. Now let me say at median, the minimum weight we need will be 30 em. Then once the weight reaches 30 em, we change the background to blue. Reaches 50 em, it will be, we will change the background color to blue. As you can see now, we have a pink background color here. Or if I enlarge this, it's now in 50 em. The background color is now in blue. So let's talk about shorthands. Some properties like font, background, padding, border, and margin are called shorthand properties. So this is because shorthand properties set several values in a single line. For example, let's say padding. Let's say padding of 10 pixel, 15 pixel, 15 pixel, 5 pixel. So this is equivalent to equivalent to padding top 10 pixel, padding right 15 pixel, padding bottom 15 pixel, and padding left 5 pixel. So let's see another one. Still background red. You are so the URL will be we don't have any image here. Back to the port an image. Sorry, or just your image, your then yeah, I will say 10 pixel, 10 pixel repeat X, then fixed. This is equivalent to background color for background image. Your image background position 10 pixel 10 pixel background repeat X, then background attachment fixed. This is equivalent to this. This is equivalent to this. So let's talk about commenting in CSS. So to comment in CSS, we have single line and multi-line. CSS comment begins with / and asterisk and end with asterisk and /. Example, / asterisk and end with asterisk /. So comment the start of distinct section of code. This helps to navigate the code base as it gets larger. With this kind of commenting in place, searching for comments in your code editor becomes a way to efficiently find a section of code. So let's give example. We'll say body. For that, I'll comment and say simple basic element styling. Sections EM /50% vertical area say then padding or EA only with the margin